Hello students, today we are going to discuss a little bit different revision of the lower limb in which uh, the 2 marks question may be asked or it is related with the 5 marks question. So the revision of the one of the longest and strongest bone of the body and is called as the femur. This is right sided femur. So first of all, this is the in the introduction, it is the bone of the thigh. The bone should be studied. Introduction, this is long bone. Introduction, type of the bone, where that bone is located, then what are the articulations made by this bone, and what are the joints. Articulation means joints formed by these bones, and clinical important and features of the upper end shaft and the lower end, and lastly the clinical anatomy. And before to that you may search for the developmental anatomy, that is primary and secondary center, how this bone get ossified and what are the changes accordingly as per the age. So this is a very common bone that is to be fractured in the adults. So starting with the introduction, this bone is the bone of the thigh. It is longest and strongest bone of the body. So superiorly the head articulates with the, this is the first revision of the femur, not less than 1 hour. The features, articulations, then the articulation, that means the muscle attachments and the clinical anatomy. In the first half we will conclude the features, because this is the one of the important bone to understand the femoral triangle. Then the obturator nerve, femoral nerve, then femoral artery, femoral vein, even for clinical purpose, the quadriceps femoris muscles, the hamstring muscles, the popliteal fossa is related with this bone. So you must know some features and some of the features as well as much more things regarding the femur. And this is the bone of the elderly person that is commonly gets fractured due to the osteoporosis. The neck is commonly get fractured in elderly person, and shaft may get fractured due to the less phosphorus in the bone or the constituent of the bone. Okay, that we will see in the applied anatomy. So deliberately I am doing the revision of this bone. Next time I will revise the bone, femur, that humerus. The humerus plays an important 2 marks questions are, and many things are related to this bone. To understand you, many features that you come in contact. Features means the terminology. Most of the terminology I am going to revise you. Deliberately I am taking this revision of this bone. So first of all, in the introductory part, this is the longest and strongest bone. This is the bone of the thigh. Superiorly it articulates with the acetabular cavity. This is the shoulder. This is a hip joint. Superiorly, the head, this head articulates, this cylindric spherical head articulates with the acetabular cavity of the hip bone. In the acetabular cavity, all the ilium, ischium and pubis meets to this meets there, and that gets articulated. That is a ball and socket type of joint, and the shaft is little bit convex anteriorly, and the lower end, this is upper end, shaft and lower end. The upper end, observe the upper end. The upper end consists of almost more than 3/4 the cylindrical head. This head fits into the acetabular cavity of the hip bone to form the hip joint. At the medial aspect of the head, there is one depression or fossa called as a fovea. This is called as a fovea, and the cylindrical head articulates with in the acetabular cavity of the hip bone to form the hip joint. Then the portion that connects the head with the upper, this is the upper end. Upper end consists of head, neck, greater trochanter and lesser trochanter. This is the anterior aspect. This is the right sided femur. You have to hold it in right hand. So the the femur has a neck. This is the neck of the femur. Neck of the femur. Then the line that separates the head from the neck is the line that separates the neck from the head. This is a clear-cut line that separates the head from the neck. And especially on the posterior aspect of the neck, there are hole-like structures. These are called as the vascular foramen. So, upper end consists of neck, head, greater trochanter. This greater trochanter is almost quadrangular and it is large and it is subcutaneous. You can palpate your own greater trochanter here. You can palpate this greater trochanter and a conical shaped lesser trochanter. This is lesser trochanter. Now, at the medial aspect of this greater trochanter, there is a depression called as a trochanteric fossa or a fossa like trochanteric fossa. Now, first of all, the head is almost smooth. It is smooth because it is articular throughout the life, and the neck is the portion that connects the head with the upper end. It's called as a neck. Neck has superior border. Neck has inferior border, and there are vascular foramens most markedly in the posterior aspect. They are fewer in the anterior aspect. It has anterior surface and posterior surface, anterior surface and posterior surface. And the greater trochanter has four surfaces: the lateral surface, anterior surface, posterior surface, and medial surface. Medial surface is concave and it converts into the fossa called as a trochanteric fossa. You observe this is the height of the greater trochanter. Now, on a posterior medial aspect, this is the posterior medial aspect of the right sided femur. You are observing the right sided femur posteriorly and medially is called, it is conical. See, you observe the lesser trochanter, it is conical in shape. This is lesser trochanter which is conical in shape. The tip of the lesser trochanter is also called as a iliopsoas junction. This is because iliacus muscle and psoas major muscle is inserted there. Now, you observe the anterior aspect of the greater trochanter and lesser trochanter. Greater trochanter, there is a line that connects the greater trochanter with the lesser trochanter. Trochanter is called as a trochanteric line, and posteriorly the greater trochanter connects with the lesser trochanter. Greater trochanter connects with the lesser trochanter is called as a intertrochanteric crest. This is the intertrochanteric line and this is intertrochanteric crest. Intertrochanteric crest. Observe the greater trochanter. Lateral aspect, lateral surface of the greater trochanter. You can palpate your greater trochanter on the surface of your body laterally. You can palpate here. So these are the four surfaces. It is quadrangular in shape, and lesser trochanter is conical in shape. This is conical, a conical elevation. It is like a cone. So this is lesser trochanter. As tip is also called as the iliopsoas junction. Iliacus and psoas major gets inserted there. Intertrochanteric line and intertrochanteric crest. Anteriorly line and posteriorly crest. Again revise, this is the trochanteric fossa. Again revise the features of the upper end, head, fovea, neck, greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, intertrochanteric line and intertrochanteric crest. These are the main important features of the upper end. Now the shaft. Shaft is the portion that connects the upper end with the lower end. This is lower end. Lower end, upper end with the lower end. This shaft. The shaft is convex anteriorly. The shaft is convex anteriorly. And what is shaft? Shaft is the portion that connects the upper end with the lower end. It's called as the shaft. This shaft is in a cross section. The shaft is triangular in shape. triangular. This is the anterior. These are the two lateral surface and medial surface. So this shaft, you observe the shaft. You observe the shaft in the upper 1/3, mid of the shaft, and lower 1/3 of the shaft. The upper 1/3 of the shaft. See, you observe. You observe the posterior aspect. This is the anterior. Anterior aspect of the shaft. Shaft is convex anteriorly. It is not vertical. This shaft is smooth anteriorly, and posteriorly there is a thick border called as a linea aspera. This is a linea aspera. This linea aspera bifurcates to the medial side. It's called as a spiral line, and it bifurcates to the lateral aspect, goes towards the greater trochanter, is called as a gluteal line. This is spiral line, this is a gluteal line. This is nothing but the bifurcation, upper bifurcation of the linea aspera and lower bifurcation of the linea aspera, the medial supracondylar ridge and lateral supracondylar ridge. This is lateral supracondylar ridge, this is a medial supracondylar ridge. For our convenience and of the students, teachers and surgeons, the shaft is being divided into upper 1/3, mid of the shaft and lower 1/3 of the shaft. The upper 1/3 of the shaft, you observe the upper 1/3 of the shaft. It has 4 borders and 4 surfaces. This is a lateral